Oh, hey everybody, it's Chuck. Happy Easter. Well, just as I was wrapping up my day, thinking I was going to be done with my chores in the apiary with all the bees, FSDBeta dropped a new version to me. These version 12 versions have been coming fast and furious, but after Elon tweeted that he wanted everybody to be able to have a 30-day free trial and demo drives on every car, the Tesla AI team was definitely crunched to get some new software out, and out quickly with a lot of versions. So it continues to roll out. This version, I was actually on a 2023 build until today. And if you can see here, I am on 2024.3.10. And this is FSD Supervised 12.3.3. The term beta has now been removed everywhere from the controls. And I'll even show you, if you go to autopilot here, FSD Supervised is the terminology here. When I did come in here, the automatic set speed offset is still labeled as new. I had already had that on the previous version, but I know that is something that's supposed to be improved again here, and I do have that set here. This is a Hardware 3 Model Y. I do have ultrasonic sensors. I never lost auto park, but apparently this version did bring auto park to the Tesla Vision family. So let's go out and do my first impressions drive. I did this exact same version on 12.3.1. But let's see how it looks here. It's Sunday afternoon at 3:15 on Easter Sunday, so I'm going to call it light to medium traffic. Definitely not any sort of rush hour, but let's see how our first unprotected left-hand turn does here on Easter Sunday on full self-driving supervised. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. All right, full NHTSA stop there with a creep as it heads out to the creep limit. Okay, we got a very small gap here. It should not go. Oh, I'm so proud it didn't go. That was really good. Okay, no, God, he's going now. I didn't think it was going to go there either, but it made it. All right, and it came into the first full left lane. Okay, that kind of caught me by surprise because it didn't go for the gap. It went for another gap. It was clear on the right, and it did it just fine. Weirdly, the reason I was surprised is because there was an enormous gap behind these 2 or 3 cars that were coming. And in my mind, that was what a human would have done, is just to wait on that. I'm sitting here talking and I need to edit my trip very quickly to catch the U-turn. Is it going to catch it? Oh, it did. It caught it. Wow. I love this new software of catching it very good. Very aggressive there. 1 car to wait for. U-turn is programmed. A little bit more aggressive there and then slowing it up. And the U-turn was done. That felt like it was doing the U-turn with a little more aggressiveness than the last version, which I did complain about. You can definitely still see some uncertainty with the trajectory plot on here as to how it's measuring it, but it was definitely more confident than the previous version in my mind, a little bit faster. So that is definitely improved, especially when doing a U-turn on 3 lanes of high-speed cross traffic there. But that was really good. Let me just make sure my route is good. Yep, okay, this will take us across our narrow road scenario and then into that suicide lane that we had a little bit of a problem with last time just because of the traffic scenario that it had. So, FSD Supervised, how does that roll off the tongue? What does it mean? You know, Elon a year ago, said version 12 won't be beta, so maybe this is the manifestation of no longer being beta. We are definitely including the word supervised in it in order to further clarify the full self-driving is not autonomous, because I know there have been some lawsuits in California and a lot of kind of industry media concern about full self-driving isn't really full self-driving, but it's a brand name, and I don't have a problem with that. It is about how it's marketed and documented, and nowhere in Tesla's documentation does it say it is full self-driving autonomous software. It says it's level 2 in your paperwork if you look very carefully. So I am glad that they're using supervised. I kind of wish the supervised was in front because it doesn't really roll off the tongue at the end. It's kind of like a quotes or, you know, air quotes kind of a thing. Supervised full self-driving sounds better than full self-driving supervised. Anyway, it's not my brand. I'm just talking about it. And got a little bit of a pay attention to the road, I think is what that was. I didn't see it. And here we have an unprotected left-hand turn with a yellow arrow crossing railroad tracks, doing it like a roller. Let's see how it slows down for the railroad tracks. 17 miles an hour. Perfect. didn't accelerate. We did have a car in front of us. It used to kind of accelerate to almost 30 on that one. Okay, so now we get narrow roads. It looks like we got one car that's not going to really interact with us on the narrow road scenario here. I am going to try to leave my hand off of the steering wheel a little bit more on this one in order to determine the number of nags, because there was a lot of discussion, and I'm leaning forward for the creep here. It's clear. In the terminology in the release notes, it no longer says hands on the wheel. It only refers to paying attention and driving with your eyes on the road. Okay, that first speed bump got a nice 12. Let's see what the speed control does here on this road of 30 miles an hour. It should not go accelerate to 30. This feels fine. But it's also going to be interesting to see if this 2024 3.10 build really reduces the nags if you're paying attention and not needing the steering wheel tug. So if you notice, I haven't touched the steering wheel. Okay, here it is. Apply. So we do still need to do a steering wheel nag. So they did not eliminate it. And there's a slight tug, and I'm not going to touch it again. 24, 23, not too bad, but it usually slows down more than that for those speed bumps. Shucks, it doesn't look like we're going to get any more cars on this narrow road scenario, unfortunately. But honestly, that doesn't bother me too much because the previous build solved narrow roads. Narrow roads is not a problem any longer. An uncomfortable stop there for something I didn't see. It did not have a stop sign there, but it honored something. I do still have my snapshot button. Some people were asking if I was going to keep that. So my snapshot is still in the upper right-hand corner, and I did go ahead and snag that log just in case somebody back at Tesla AI wants to take a look at it. Okay, we're taking a left turn here. This is the unprotected left-hand turn. There's my second apply steering force to the wheel. You guys looking at the camera time can probably calculate how many seconds that is and leave it in the comments. All right, it needs to stop here. And there's fast-moving cars approaching, but it's probably going to go for this. Yep. Okay, it's clear to the right, so it should just ignore the suicide lane and go straight over, which is exactly what it did. So that was good. I'm editing. Oh, it took a turn that it needs to get over for. I was editing the trip, so now let's see if it figures it out. It needs to kind of slow down and get to the left. Gosh, man, this is just, it's working really good. Even changing the route at the last minute didn't stump it too bad. It very quickly recalculated and did what it needed to do. Okay, this is an unprotected left turn with cars coming over the hill. It's got a roller here, no problem. Wow. Granted, it has not had a complex scenario yet. Like, you know, very hard decision making, but it's just doing it all so smoothly. Yeah. Let's keep talking. Okay, here we are at 30 mile an hour and it's doing 39. Feels very comfortable. You know, obviously there are, I would probably be going 39 too. Some people may say that's too fast on a 30 mile an hour road, but this feels comfortable to me. It's much better than doing 28 or 29, I guarantee you that. So this feels good on this road. I don't know how it chose it, how it decides to choose this. I still haven't got enough miles of these versions to figure out its logic. But something it's doing is working. All right, so I'm going to continue to edit my trip so these things don't interfere. All right, that should get us through there. Yep. Lots of parked cars on the right side of the road here. No issues. They're well in the grass, but it hugged the center line perhaps a little bit, and that was good. It just kind of slid over very gently and smoothly. Yeah, and now it's down to 34, comfortable speed here. So the speed changes really seem like maybe they did tweak them a little bit. That was one of the primary complaints on the initial builds of FSD 12, was that the auto speed was uncomfortably slow in some scenarios. I really look forward to hearing from a lot of other testers or drivers of this software. I guess we shouldn't even call ourselves testers anymore, should we? If we're just driving and it's not beta, what are we? Oh no, what's our purpose? I'm joking. We're driving. We're not testing. Well, you could call it testing. There's my next nag there. A little bit of tension going over some railroad tracks. It recognized them. As far as the speed bump nature of it, it did not render any railroad track sort of symbology yet, but it definitely slowed down for the tracks just fine. If you looked very closely on the display, there was the paint markings, but I think that comes from map data. Yeah, so this is comfortable speeds. I haven't seen one go below the speed limit yet, but that doesn't mean we won't get one. I'm just saying that's where we are. Some baby geese. Didn't plot them, but that would have been an interesting one if they'd have been in the road. Okay, so now I'm going 28 and a 30. And this is a wider road. I think I remember this from my previous version. If you guys want to go back and look at that this section of the road, I think I remember that exact same comment. I don't know why. The road's wider. We do have a biker up here, but that shouldn't have been the reason all the way back there. That's probably why we're going 24. Okay, let's see how this handles this, because the biker's on the road, very cautious. Look at this. They don't want to cross the yellow line. I would have cut over. Come on, go around her, go around her, go around her, go around her. Okay, I didn't want to intervene there, but it did a really good job. I would have been more aggressive there and gone around sooner and later. She was probably uncomfortable with me hanging out at her hind, quarter back there, right behind her. But the car had to sort of do something because of the blind turn. So I'm going to give it credit for that. It had to kind of see what was coming around the corner. So I think it did the right thing. I'm not going to say it didn't. I think I would have been more aggressive only for her benefit, not for the safety benefit. But that was a really interesting one. Maybe take a look at that one later. Okay, we are still zero intervention, zero disengagements on my first impressions drive. We've already thrown it an unprotected left turn, a U-turn, narrow road, speed bumps, railroad tracks, suicide lanes, and an unprotected left with oncoming traffic coming across a ridge. So, I don't know. We're not halfway there yet, but let's keep looking at this. Looks like the map data has got us doing the S-curve, which is good. We'll just take a look at these. So we're going into traffic circles next, and the traffic circles are baby traffic circles. So, and with the lead car, I bet it's going to do these just fine. Bradford Ferguson has all the traffic circles you ever want to see up in Indiana. So take a look at his videos if you want to see lots and lots of traffic circles. So I'm going 25 and a 30, but it's not me causing the speed. It's the cars in front of us. So you could make this as an argument of this is the speed cars are going on this road. It's not uncomfortable. Do have a yield, do have an oncoming car that should make us wait. That was handled perfectly. Perfectly. He was already in there. Slow down, yield, follow the next car. So it did have a nice interaction there that it needed to yield for. And it didn't stop completely, didn't jerk, nothing. Okay, the next one we're joining and turning to the right. Looks like we're following these cars, following the truck essentially. Yeah. See how that truck was crossing the white line into the bike lane? The Tesla did the exact same thing. So it's just kind of using the radius of turn to its benefit. It's not completely honoring the white and the yellow. It's kind of being smooth and using them as guidelines when it can. I think that gives an overall smoother appearance and feeling of driving. Definitely is what humans do, as you see from the cars just in front of us. Here again is the warning sign of the S-curve with a 15-mile-an-hour warning. No indication on the display of that. And then blinkers have not come on in version 12 once yet, so I'm not even expecting to see that at all. Yeah, no blinkers. Perfect. The S-curve is working. All right, as we drive through Avondale, it does look like it's going to be pretty busy in here today. So there's a lot of kind of walking traffic, cars parking, backing out of parking spaces. The last time I did this with you, it was much earlier in the morning and it was kind of quiet. So we might see a little bit more interaction today. All right, we got a car coming out. No pedestrians on the other side, nothing to stop for there. The car in front of us is creating the lead car speed. So we're going 14 and a 30, which is fine here. A lot of times these cars are looking for parking spaces and it goes really, really slow here. It's rendering everything perfectly. Motorcycle even coming in and out there on the left. Golf cart was rendered as a car. Do have our first pedestrian kind of walking here, but she's probably not going to be of any concern. Yeah, she'll be backing out of that spot in just a few seconds. Got some cyclists using the full lane to the left. A couple more pedestrians here on the right, but they are not moving. They don't have a trajectory, so the car is not yielding to them. And unfortunately, we didn't get this scenario. That was what I was hoping for, is to the stop and for the pedestrians and the crosswalk sign. So this car honored it. Therefore, we honored it also. Yeah, Avondale was a breeze. Obviously, we had a lead car that didn't make it too challenging for us. But it was nice and smooth and all the renderings were good. So right behind this lead car, he's going 28 and a 30. So once again, that's what the speed is. He kind of went around a little bit of a pothole there. I went over it. So that was interesting. Had it followed that lead car perfectly, it would have gone around the pothole that we ended up running over. It was a small pothole, not very deep, but you did kind of see the car ahead of us go around it. And we stayed on our trajectory and went right over it. I guess that is one of the next things to look for, is pothole avoidance. Boy, that'll be a big one. Huge. And especially discerning potholes from water or puddles or things like that. I have seen it go around standing water on the road when it could. I have seen it go through standing water on the road when it couldn't go around it. So I've seen it do both. Flashing yellow lights here. Have never had an issue with these lights other than the color they render when you go under them. They usually turn red, just like they did there. All right, this truck is turning to the right. Did see his blinker rendered there. This car is pulling off out of the way too, no longer, so now we have no lead car. And up at the next intersection, we're taking a left turn with a quick right turn. And FSD12 has handled this the entire time. No issues. We do have a red light, so we'll be waiting on the signal. Here we go. Should go to the right lane all by itself. Smoothly. Blinker onto the right. The light just turned yellow, so now it's turning into a right on red scenario after a stop. Let's see if it goes to a NHTSA 0. There's our 0 with a little bit of even a reverse, and now a creep. We do have a car coming from the left. It needs to yield, and it's doing that just fine. And then here we go. Just like I would have done it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable how smooth this drive is going so far. All right, this is going perfectly. 35 and a 30. Very nice, good acceleration all the way up to this lead car here. There are a couple potholes on this road. It's never avoided them. Maybe this will be a use case we can continue to monitor. I don't even know if we need to do this first impressions drive anymore, if it's going to keep driving like this. Obviously, some benchmarking is good, but we're going to have to just work on things like parking lots, parking garages. Here's some potholes and water. You see right here? Yeah, it didn't really avoid any of them. High-speed cross-traffic is still my main concern. I am heading to work tomorrow, so I probably won't get a dedicated unprotected left-hand turn video till later in the week. See if we can continue to get some good decision-making clips with the drone overhead to see how this version makes decisions over and over in repeated scenarios. Wow. Unbelievable how smooth this is going. And I mean, I haven't seen anything that would have really tripped it up, but it's continuing to just drive smoothly in all areas that maybe before there would just be some jerkiness or some other things in version 11. Version 12, really, it was all about speed. That was it. And now we're at 12.3.3, and I think they got 12.4 in the oven. So I guess they're just going to continue to work on the endpoints and the auto park and things like that. I guess I do need to test some sort of auto parking scenario here. Let's see, when we get up here at this destination, maybe I can find a spot to do a little bit jerky on that turn. That was okay. This car does have his blinker on. He's going to try to, this is going to be good. So I've modified my route now. He's trying to park. I can't, okay, stop. Perfect. I'm not in his way. I was thinking it was going to continue to go up and get in his way so he couldn't do his parking. But no, it stopped in a very good spot. Now look, it's going around him. He's going to maybe need to make a few more adjustments, but that was great. That was a really good, courteous location to stop. FSD 11 would have kind of continued to go up close to him, not really realizing his intent, what he was going to be doing. And yeah, that was another great little clip there. I wonder if we can, I'm gonna disengage here and just see if I can do any auto parking in these spots here. Oh, there's a P. I'm going to scoot up a little bit more. So this is a great part of the script, actually, now that I realize this route here. Let's see if I can get a P. There's a P. P. Shift to reverse. Start. So this is not the high definition auto park that Tesla Vision has. I think everybody would agree. So that was it. This was a good test. Some people thought, because on the Vision only cars, high definition auto park is working now. I have ultrasonics. Golly, it did that perfectly though in one shot. This is an ultrasonic equipped car from 2020, and wow, that was good. So I'm going to go ahead and go into drive, and oh, this is, I can't see to the left here, and it just gave me FSD, and there's a truck up here. I'm going to engage from the parking spot. It needs to creep slowly. Okay. Yeah, that was slow enough. So that was what you, I mean, that's what you do in any parking lot, really, right? You got to slowly creep out to get your visibility. Obviously, headlight cameras would be the optimal superhuman vision location there. But when the traffic is slow, like in parking lots and under 20 miles an hour, the slow granny creep, I call it, will work. Do not mistake my opinion that the camera location back here is inferior when high-speed cross-traffic is involved, because you cannot do the granny creep with high-speed cross-traffic if you're going to put your car in the lane of traffic like we did when we pulled out of that parking spot. That is my differentiator on that. It's high-speed cross-traffic where you just time and latency of decision-making is life-threatening. You're not life-threatening creeping out into a parking lot. Okay, I made a highlight clip of this one last time because it stopped in the perfect location where this oak tree would have been in the spot if it goes to the creep line. So there's our NHTSA stop. But look, right here is where it needs to see. The creep line is way out there, but it's not going to the creep line because of that oak tree, or at least it knew it had adequate visibility where it was. So I made a highlight clip last week of that one because I thought it was a novel spot for it to stop and the decision it made there. But once again, it did the exact same behavior, just a few days on two different builds. All right. right, so we're kind of going over these manholes pretty quickly, meaning like it's not avoiding them. You know, there's another one it ran over, so it's not doing any sort of swerving over manholes yet, or potholes, or things that perhaps a human driver might just slightly go around them just to keep the ride a little bit smoother. Wow, so we're still zero disengagement, zero intervention. Obviously, I had to disengage to do the auto park testing, but that was completely on my route. Maybe I'll change my pin next time, right next to those parking spots, and I'll go straight to a destination, to a park, and back in right there. See how that works. Constant iteration on the supervised full self-driving test. Yellow light, didn't blink, it continued straight through without any sort of decision. Pause there. Slowing down a little bit, mostly because of the lead car, but he was kind of slowing for that crosswalk area, which is, see how he crossed that yellow line there? Humans do that all the time. And if that's what the training set consists of, that's completely normal. All right, we got a green light. We're going straight here. No cars parked on this corner that are really going to affect us. Sometimes with these cars here, the car has crossed that yellow line when there's a whole row of cars there. Didn't need to do it today. We'll wait for another drive to see if that happens in the future. Lots of shadowing here today, though. I normally don't drive in the afternoon like this, but notice these oak trees creating these shadows that the cameras are having to deal with. Reverse lights on there. You do have them lit up, which was good, so it recognized that car was perhaps moving. It didn't change its color, though, but that was good to see that those lights were on. Those pedestrians crossed the road out in front of us, no issue there, but they're still rendering them, which is always good. Pedestrians kind of approaching here, too far away from the stop sign to even mark them, but they are rendered there. Not much to supervise here. Okay, we got a cyclist. It's on the other side of the road. He is dark gray there, so you do see that it's considering him a VRU of interest. Flashing yellow with a little bit of red on the screen. A little bit of trash here on the road, not being rendered with any sort of visualization there. Sometimes we were getting the, I was seeing visualizations with the occupancy network having a little, the blobs there. The nags, now that I'm starting to pay attention a little bit more, you guys have probably already timed the distance between them. I'm definitely trying to leave my hand off the wheel a little bit more so you guys can time them. But it definitely feels like while the steering wheel nags are still required, they're definitely fewer and far between as long as I'm paying attention. Nice slow turn with some big trucks parked here to the side. It had to kind of give room to. Okay, should be taking an immediate left turn here at the green light. Giving these trucks plenty of room. Golly, what am I even doing here? All right, got a couple of flashers up here just to see if they've changed any behaviors, but the only real thing to look for here is if there was a car going across it, his flashing red, how I yielded or didn't yield. That's really the next thing to look for with these flashing lights is oh, we do have one here. Oh, look at that. It did slow down. So I was just sitting here hoping for that scenario. So that car was approaching his flashing red, and rather than continue through the yellow, I did feel a slowdown to ensure that his trajectory was stopping, and I was going to yield. So that scenario actually created itself the moment I was thinking about it. Very cool. All right, next scenario is not really a scenario, but just to highlight those of you that watch these videos over and over, the school zone that I have yet to drive through while it's going on, because you got to get up pretty early in the morning to do that on a weekday. It's a scenario where it's a 15 miles an hour wind flashing. You can see the signage right up there, and it does kind of render a stoplight symbol right there. So it does sort of see something there. It really will be interesting to see if it honors 15, especially if it hard code honors 15 and not 15 plus whatever the comfortable driving limit is. All right, quick traffic circle here. She's not doing the right thing, but we're doing the perfect thing. We're yielding for them who are already in the circle. We're going to go around and go on our way. Traffic circles. Nice. I still think that decision making with people making the wrong decision or something to keep an eye on. Not to say that version 12 isn't going to handle it correctly. I'm just saying when the car needs to anticipate or handle erroneous decisions made by others. Like, see here, she's completely clueless how to use a traffic circle. But FSD is hugging her as tight as I would probably be. And we're going on our way now that she's no longer stopping. I did use she because I did see it was a female driving the car. I'm not just associating driving with ladies. Okay. Yeah, we got a straightaway to a stoplight. It's doing 33 and a 30. Speed feels fine. I don't know what else to throw at it. I mean, I guess we haven't done highway stack yet. We're still on version 11 on the highway stack. So I obviously high speed merges, blinkers and things like that. But highway was working great on version 11. So really, as long as version 12 doesn't have any major regressions, I'm confident that the highway stack is what this camera system was designed for. The cameras have great location and visibility for the highway environment. 360 degrees without any occlusions. Well, other than trucks and things like that while they're driving, but that is the highway environment. They're not static occlusions. Yeah, and then high speed decision making. So in other words, low latent decisions made quickly with the appropriate commit for the gaps that it can see. Using the creep as best as you can. The creep does solve poor visibility in almost I shouldn't say almost, because that's an undetermined word, but in most situations. Protected left here. On my unprotected left-hand turn, if you do the creep correctly, you can be in a safe location. That's fine. There are a lot of other ones out there that people are driving that it's not safe. But as long as the car understands its boundaries and it continues to react with good commits and low latent decisions with high-speed cross traffic, I think you're good. So these tones, I'm realizing when I'm distracted looking around, it's calling me out on my eyes based on this camera here, not my tug. So that's what these pay attention to the roads are. It's seeing my head looking away a little bit. And we have been driving for 35 minutes. I've been talking for all but about a minute and a half of that. We have 3 more stoplights and an unprotected or a protected, depending on the light signal, to go in what is easy city streets scenarios. So I guess to talk in summary about what we've seen. So 0 disengagements, 0 interventions, auto parked with the old stack, didn't get the new stack here yet, narrow roads, unprotected left turns, U-turns, pedestrians. What else? You guys have been watching this video with me. The speed control, let's comment. That is probably the biggest improvement I've noticed on this build. So that is what I think we are waiting on to get fixed from early version 12. It is much, much improved. I really can't wait to hear hundreds and hundreds of people driving this to comment on how it's working in their areas. Because I think that is something that could be very, very localized on how the model determines the best auto speed. Right now I'm doing 52 and a 45. So, am I ready to get in the back seat? I could have been in the back seat on this drive. I'm not ready to get in the back seat because I still know there are scenarios out there, and this was a very good scenario. It handled well. But today, it would have been a very comfortable robotaxi ride. Absolutely. This was a great drive. If we are only going forward from this version and getting better without any significant regressions, then I really don't know, what is next other than the scenarios at the beginning and the end of the drive. So parking lots, garages, pulling into driveways. Maybe we can designate our home location driveways and it'll learn how to do that. Okay, we have a very tight window here for an unprotected forward-facing left that it needs to probably wait on because that car was accelerating. That was good. That looked like a scenario that was going to work out, but that one car was going much faster than the speed limit, and it closed the gap, and we didn't even flinch. So now we got some cars in front of us that are occluding the traffic. It can't see through those cars until it's almost too late. So honestly, and I am a little bit beyond the line, so okay, it's creeping a little bit, and that is what it needs to do to get visibility. This is a danger scenario that might fix itself if these cars get out of the way. Oh, it's gonna fix itself. Look at this. Wow. Wow. Great job, Tesla AI. I'm really proud of you guys. You delivered quickly. You're iterating on these builds very fast, maybe faster than you wanted, based off of some of the commitments that were made for the team this week and for the delivery centers. But version 12.3.3, 0 interventions, 0 disengagements. I hope you enjoy it. Leave some comments below, and we'll get you some more content on this release or whatever release is out there. I'll try to do an unprotected left-hand turn dedicated video later in the week when I get back from work. Have a great day, everybody. Awesome job, Tesla AI.